Hi, I'm David Betts, business coach. And one of the areas that I find keeps coming up with coaching people is dealing with people in your teams, dealing with people inside and outside your business. Why is it they behave differently to you? And how actually can you use that to your advantage? So I hope this is useful to you and you can apply it in your business. And don't forget to like and follow me so you don't miss future topics which can be of interest to you. So where do we start? Why can't people be normal like you? And this is the underlying question that we keep coming up with. And what does that actually mean? Well, let's look at some of these. Why won't people work on their own initiative? Why is it people won't make decisions for themselves? Why is it they don't communicate clearly? Work as a team. Can't they just get on with things? Not asking questions if you don't understand. Why do they worry about these things? All of these are individual quirks. And what I want to show you now is actually how we can understand these. And if we understand these, how we can use them to the advantage of the business to be more efficient because we capitalize on people's skills. The bottom line is people don't behave like you because they're not like you. They have needs you don't have. They have different ways of thinking. But actually, they have skills that you don't have. And what we can do by understanding this, we can look to capitalize on those skills and get a good balance across the company with different people's abilities. What I want to start with is DISC analysis. DISC analysis is a personality profiling process. It's one of the original ones, which is being distilled out of what all the research was done with the ancient Chinese. And the thing I like about DISC is it's very simplistic to understand and it's very powerful. So this is everything I'm going to cover now is coming from DISC. And a DISC matrix has two axes. We have a horizontal and a vertical axis. If we start with the vertical axis, it goes from being very reserved to very outgoing. And we are all somewhere on that axis. The horizontal axis goes from being task-orientated to people-orientated. Now, what that means is, if you're really task-orientated, that you work best by shutting yourself in a room away from any other people to disturb you, and you just want to get on with the work. If you're people-orientated, you're completely the opposite end of the scale. You can't work isolated. You need to have the buzz of what's going on around you. You need to sort of interject with other people in your normal day to be efficient. And we will all be on the scale somewhere along in this direction. This then breaks down into 4 quadrants. And we have dominance, high D, used in the description, outgoing and task-orientated. Influence would be I, high I, would be outgoing and people-orientated. Steadiness would be reserved and people-orientated. And compliance, which is reserved and task-orientated. So what does that mean? Well, let's take some scenarios. High dominance people, a lot of people who start their own business are high dominance because a high dominance person is task-orientated, they just want to get things done, and they're outgoing, they can be pushy. So what they've actually done is they've got off their backsides, they've gone and done something, they've concentrated on the task, they've started a business. So lots of business owners are high dominance. High influence people, classic salesperson profile, outgoing, people-orientated, great communicator, great at getting along with people. They're the classic sort of, you know, they're in the room salesperson. Steady people are the lifeblood of a business. They like routine, they like to know where they are, they like consistency. They don't actually like change, but these are the people who pull the team together. People-orientated reserve. They're not loud, they're in the background, but they get things done. Compliance people, they're task-orientated reserve. These classic profiles are for engineers and accountants because they like the numbers, they like the detail, they like the analysis. So let's put this in strengths and weaknesses. High dominance people just want to get things done. They want to be in control. They will make very quick decisions. High influence people, they want people and recognition, and their decision making is based on emotion. Come around to the steadiness, security and stability is what they want, and their decision making is deliberate. They look for things which are going to make life run smoothly. And finally, compliance, they want accuracy and order. The decision making will be very analytical. Never try and bluff somebody who's high compliance profile. So all these different mixes, the thing to watch is friction between them. So a high dominant person as a manager may walk into an office and say, I want you to do this, 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 and this. And if they're talking to a high steadiness person, this person wants reassurance and engagement and feel part of the team. This person could, it's just had a go at me. What have I done? Whereas actually the dominant person just wants to get things done. They don't want any chit chat, they just want to get on it. This person kind of feels, oh, is he in a bad mood? Equally so, compliance to influence people. Influence people love to have a chat about everything, what's going on, this, that, and that. The compliance person wants facts and figures. So this person just thinks, why is it this other person over here just always fluffing around? Why don't they just get on with it? This person is saying, why is this person so stuffy and not interacting with me? So you get this kind of friction between different people. Let me give you a scenario. Let's assume we're going to go swimming. Big group of us, all different personalities. The bus pulls up. We all get on the bus. Drive to where we're going. Bus stops. First people off the bus, dominant people. They're there to swim. Get changed, jump in. That's it. Get the thing done. That's their purpose. The influence people want to do it as a big group activity. So they're rounding everybody up, and they're trying to, the steady people don't want to be standing out from the crowd. They want to actually be in the crowd. So they form the crowd with the influence people. The influence, let's make the biggest splash we can get by all jumping in together. And the compliance people, the facts and figures people, they're looking at the tide times and the resuscitation and the safety equipment, and are we doing everything correct? All these things we need in a business. All these skills we need in a business. So it doesn't matter where you sit in this matrix, you will benefit in your business by having all of these quadrants covered. And that is the strength. So let's look at how testing works. We have the 4 traits, the D, I, S, and C. And we have a natural style and we have an adapted style, which you could call a work style in this case. This is really where we're concentrating on. And what we can see here, this person, natural style, has the highest score as a D. So they would have a dominant personality. And all the other ones are actually below the halfway mark. So this would be a dominant type person in their relaxed natural state. So this would be what they're like at home. When we walk into a work environment, subconsciously, we feel we need to behave in a slightly different way. We need to do things slightly differently. And so we subconsciously create an adapted style, a work mode. And if you think about it, we all can we think about things we would do at home, we don't do at work. This is it on a psychological level. Now look at the difference. The D, the dominance has come down, the influence has gone up, okay? The stability has not changed that much and the compliance has gone up. So in a work environment, this person is behaving like an IC, influence compliant personality. Now, this can be great. This can be exactly what they need to do in a work environment, depends on what they're doing. When you actually perform this shift from one personality to one which isn't your natural one, it creates stresses. It creates internal conflicts. So you can find this can be a source of stress. If somebody works in a profile which isn't theirs, it creates more stress and requires more energy. So if you have a big change, you could be totally drained by the end of the day of putting on this persona that isn't actually natural to you. It's like doing things where you have to behave in the right way and you're kind of constantly thinking about what you're doing. That's what you're doing on a subconscious level. And sometimes if somebody's under a lot of stress, they can suddenly flip their personality. So if you're in a work environment, someone's under a lot of stress, suddenly bang, they behave totally differently to as you expect them to. That usually indicates they've reached a breaking point and they revert back to their natural style. So now let's go to the next stage. This is where it starts to get useful. So that same charts you've just looked at, this is here in a work environment. We can look at where we actually associate words with their profile. So if we go through these, we can just look at these traits and say, this person, and this is under the dominance, they take calculated risk, they're moderate, questioning, and unassuming. They're emotional, enthusiastic, gregarious, impulsive, optimistic, and persuasive. They're discontented, they're energetic, fidgety, and impetuous. And they're conscientious, courteous, focused, and they meet high standards. Now that, in those few words, start to describe the type of personality, if this was an employee, as to how they work and what they need. But we go to another level. And we can look at this on a chart. So this is now very similar to where we started from with my simplistic one. This is far more detail. And what we can see on here is we've got the natural and the adapted. So the work environment we're looking at is actually, they're pushed into the center. So they're being more flexible with their profile. Whereas their high D personality we saw is shown there by the dot. So we kind of get a pictorial view as to how this actually goes together. Now, an actual DISC report itself is quite a big document, and it goes into lots of detail that you can analyze and you can get lots of pointers. What we're looking at here is the strength of going into this and getting this done for you personally, because if you know how you come across to others, you know how you're influenced and how you're going to be accepted. But also, once you understand the principle of it, you can learn how to sell to somebody, you can learn how to talk to somebody. And if you've worked out their profile well, you know what they're looking for and how to meet that need. So all these things become very powerful in business. So what can DISC tell you? It can tell you what motivates them. It can tell you how they make decisions, how they interact with others, how to manage them for best results, how to communicate with them. What strengths do they bring to the business? And how do they work under stress? This is just a quick, simple summary of things which seem particularly relevant to business. And this is really the starting point for us. So what I would say to you is, DISC is a powerful tool. We're all different personalities and we come across in different ways. And there's no changing that. And actually, as an employer, as the business owner, if you only employ people who are just like you, your business is going to fall seriously short in some areas. If you were an engineering person and you only employed people who were like an engineering person, your sales and marketing ability would be considerably restricted because the different natural personalities that you will get between those two. So what I'd say to you is think about personalities in your business. Try it out, evaluate it. And if you're interested in getting profiles done, give me a shout. I'll steer you in the right direction. They can be very powerful for you personally. They can be very powerful for your business. I hope that's useful to you. I'm David Betts, business coach based in Colchester in Essex. And I hope you're going to like and share this video. But don't forget to follow it so you get the new topics as they come along. All the best in your business.